Extraordinary Lily Jane.
Thank you for having me. I love being here.
Well, we love having you. Have a home showcase that airs on Channel 2 every week.
Yes, every Saturday morning and Sunday morning. On the morning show, we have home showcase featuring the area's most beautiful open houses. I hope you'll join me every Saturday and Sunday for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, part of my job as a realtor is to know Houston inside and out, but perhaps nobody knows Houston as well as our first guest today. He's been studying the Houston area for the past 36 years. His research covers all aspects of life in Houston, from we're talking changes in the population to jobs, education, and Houston's urban sprawl.
Yeah, 36 years. A lot of expertise here. So here, with a look at what is next for Houston, please welcome the founding director of the Kinder Institute for Urban Research at Rice University, Dr. Stephen Kleinberg.
Doctor, thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys. Great to be here.
Dr. Kleinberg, I call you Stephen because I feel like, I mean, you're a friend. We love having you on the show because when we look at where Houston's going, I think part of understanding where the city is going is helping to understand our past.
Sure.
So give us sort of a lay of the land where we are right now, because I understand traffic is still number one concern for a lot of Houstonians.
So it used to be the economy, used to be crime. Traffic is the biggest problem, and that's the new normal, of course, as we build a bigger and bigger city and running out of a lot of the spaces we once had. But the city has been at the forefront of the transformations of America, right? The shift in the economy, where the good blue-collar jobs have largely disappeared, education has become critical, and a demographic revolution.
Okay.
So that's a big story in Houston. You can see the America of the 21st century here more than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, we could talk about this for hours. I mean, this is so fascinating. You surveyed 44,000 Houstonians in the greater Houston area by phone.
About 800 per year for 36 years.
Wow. Okay, and tell us what you found here.
Well, this is from the census. This is Harris County in 1980. There are 1,723 census tracts, and all the census tracts that had majority Anglo populations are in blue. Census tracts the majority African American are in red. That's sort of the 3rd ward and the 5th ward. And then along the Segundo Barrio was the ship channel, where was the Segundo Barrio where the Latinos were. And then in 1990, Latino population spreading north and east. And then around the Beltway, more and more of these census tracts with no majority. And today, in 2010, the next one shows this.
Look at that.
Truly remarkable. We are, whether we like it or not, at the forefront of where all of America is going to be in about 25 years. This epic transition from an America that was an amalgam of European nationalities into becoming a microcosm of the world.
Are you saying we're 25 years ahead of other big cities in America as far as diversity is concerned?
25 years ahead of all of America. Other cities are coming along close behind us.
That's fascinating.
But Houston is the most ethnically diverse major city in the country. We have a slide to show you that. But here is the changes over time. Here we were in 1960. There were 1.243 million people in Harris County, Texas. That biracial world. 74% of us were Anglos, 20% African Americans, just 6% Hispanics. That's in 1/2 of 1% were Asians. During the oil boom years of the 60s and 70s, Anglos were pouring into the city. This is where the jobs were. Houston became the 4th largest city in America in 1981, and then in 1982 came the oil bust. And the Anglo population stopped growing and then declined. African American population kept pace with the population as a whole, surging populations of Latinos and Asians. And by 2015, Harris County is now 42% Latino, 31% Anglo, 19% African American, 9% Asian.
Huge population boom. I think what was interesting about the previous slide that we were looking at, just the map of the greater Houston area and the racial demographics,
yes.
That beige color represented no single majority.
Exactly.
So historically, when we saw all white neighborhoods, all black neighborhoods, all Latino neighborhoods, I mean, are we getting into more of a blended scenario?
Yes,
overall?
Yeah, right. So we're falling in love with each other, marrying, making multiracial babies, right? So the real challenge is not an ethnic divide, it's a class divide. And Houston is one of the most segregated cities in America, not by ethnicity, but by income. By income and education.
Interesting.
And that's a big part of the challenge. The isolation of the poor in the inner city with very few resources, as the rich go off into the suburbs and into their gated communities and build a life for themselves that is totally separate from the life that poor folks are leading.
Let me ask you about this, because you brought this up earlier. Fort Bend County is the most ethnically diverse county in the world. In the world. Right. Tell me about that.
So, well, here's a measure of it's how close does the population come to equal percentages of African Americans, Latinos, Asians, and Anglos. And in Fort Bend County today is 20% Asian, 24% Latino, 21% African American, 34% Anglo.
Wow.
Nowhere do you come as close. And you can see New York, we beat out New York because New York has too many Anglos. We beat out Los Angeles because there are too few African Americans. We beat out Miami because there are too few Asians. This is where the four communities meet in greater balance, greater equality. All of us minorities.
Yeah.
All of us called on to build something that has never existed before in human history. A truly successful, inclusive, equitable, united, multi-ethnic society made up of all the peoples and all the religions of the world.
One of the drivers, Dr. Kleinberg, you just mentioned, was the fact that people are dating and marrying and having children with members of a different race.
We sociologists don't like that. We want to put people in separate categories.
Exactly. So it's harder to, segregate people when interracial marriage has become more of a thing. And is that, I mean, when we look at these differences in ages here, it seems like the younger population seems to really be driving these shifts in attitudes.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so we've been watching increasingly positive attitudes toward immigration and toward ethnic diversity. And it's predicted by age. And one way to get a measure of this is we ask people, Anglos, just a fun question, have you ever been involved in a romantic relationship with someone who's not Anglo? And of Anglos under 40, 59% said, thank you for asking. Yes, indeed, I have. And then 49, and then the hearts get a little smaller among the older Anglos. And it's a reminder that we older Anglos grew up in a different world than the world of younger Anglos. And there's a law of human nature that says what I'm familiar with feels right and natural, what I'm unfamiliar with feels unnatural. So you find this new generations of Anglos coming in, taking for granted, but we older Anglos are struggling to accept. Right?
We see interethnic, that word right there, interethnic. Yeah. Is that different from interracial in any way?
Yeah, race is skin color primarily. Ethnicity is so it's when you include Hispanics as we do, it becomes more ethnic than it does.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. So interethnic is a more inclusive term.
Ethnicity is a broader term than racial.
So what do you make of these, I mean, in terms of the change, because again, not to focus too much on these different age groups, but if younger people are driving, this shift in attitudes, what are some of the other things that you're seeing in terms of, I don't know, broad, like, same-sex marriage or where we live in a city, things like that? Right. So the two big, so we've been asking identical questions over the years of random samples drawn the same way, same 3 weeks of February, now more and more, about 50% a cell phone, 50% landline, asking identical questions. And the two areas that the biggest changes have occurred have to do with comfort with diversity and support for immigration and support for gay rights. That has just gone dramatically and consistently. And so those are the two areas. And in ethnicity, in comfort with diversity, it's age more than anything that predicts. With regard to gay rights, people have changed their minds about gay rights, as well as new people coming in, taking for granted these varieties. And what has happened is that support for gay rights is predicted above all else by a question that says, do you believe that homosexuality is something people choose or something they cannot change? Interesting. But age still seems to be the biggest driver when it comes to respondents. But following the baby boomer generation over the years, born in 1946 and 1964, they too have changed. Partly because they have come to see homosexuality differently than we thought it looked like 20 and 25 years ago. So it's a part of this remarkable time of transformation that we're in the midst of. What do we see about Houston's future? And also, how is Houston becoming a more appealing urban destination? Well, that's the other big challenge that Houston faces, right? Yeah. No one cared about quality of life. Who cares if it's ugly? So what if it smells? It's a smell of money. Come on. It is a smell of money. A city world. LaPorte, the smell of money. Oh, the world famous for having imposed the least amount of controls on development of any city in the Western world. Now recognizing if Houston's going to make it, it's got to turn itself into a destination of choice. A place where people who can live anywhere will say, I want to live in Houston, Texas. And so that's where suddenly quality of life issues have come in powerful ways. The business community understanding that the strategies that we need to put into place to position Houston for prosperity in the 21st century are different from the strategies that worked so well for the city when our location in the East Texas oil fields was the basis for our wealth. And it seems like job requirements have also changed, Dr. Kleinberg.
And that's
in terms of the growth of the city and people being employed, right?
Blue-collar jobs too, right?
This is a powerful reminder. Of all the jobs that existed in America in the 1970s, 1/3 you were eligible for as a high school dropout. Another 40% required no more than a high school diploma. 75% of all the jobs in America in the 70s required high school or less.
Oh, wow.
Today, 65% of all the jobs that exist in America require education beyond high school.
Beyond high school.
Not necessarily 4 years of college, but 1 or 2 years at a community college.
Vocational training too.
Acquire skills as a welder, a health technician, and those are the critical. And the great challenge for Houston is that far too many of our kids either drop out of high school or get no more than a high school diploma. In a world where if you have only a high school diploma and you don't have special skills as an artist or a performer or an athlete, you're gonna have trouble finding a job and supporting a family in a world where the source of wealth is knowledge and skills. Right?
Dr. Kleinberg, it's a good thing you are sticking around. After the
more to talk
commercial
about.
break, we're going to continue chatting about what is ahead for our city.
Yeah, coming up, we're going to take a closer look at how we can make Houston a more appealing urban destination. We'll be right back.